Hello, my loves. Today we're going to dive into the sacral chakra shared space messages for sacred union. I did record the session for the series, and I'm going to share a bit about what came through, and then we're just going to let it open up and see what unfolds to support your sacral chakra for sacred union messages. All right, so one of the biggest things that's coming through with this series in general is a deeper embodiment of the sacred union energies. And of course, many of us already know, and we've been working on embodying more and more of our higher self soul essence. What came through and what's coming through very potently, and why I'm understanding I was guided to do this series is an embodiment that is actually coming up from the earth, working with the earth and really actually receiving more and more from the sacred elements of earth to rebirth and birth ourselves in new ways, even thawing out and retrieving preserved aspects, as well as literally birthing more of who we are becoming, right? So, this is really powerful and beautiful and coming through in a very new, potent way. So, if any of you want to connect with that, I'll put the information in the pinned comments. So, a big part of what is coming through, of course, is the importance of purifying the sexual energies. Now, I'm sure many of you have already worked with this and continue to work with the layers as it presents. Multiple new things came through or came in a new way. And part of it was actually clearing the sacral chakra in the sexual energy space, the creation space, not only from previous intimate lovers, but any energies that may have connected with that space physically or in the energies. And you're talking about doctors, nurses, even people you just had past co-creations with. Maybe you were not even sexually or physically intimate with these people in the physical world, but you co-created things in the energies. And your creation energies are still interwoven. So we worked with thawing, unraveling, and dissolving any of those that are no longer pertinent to your current circumstances and moving forward. There was a deep retrieval of places and spaces where your essence, your creation energy may have been supporting other creations that you were not even aware of. So we also worked with that. A deepening of this energy went into past lovers, but past lovers, lovers of past lovers, if you get what I mean. So any place you had connected with someone intimately, but then all of the energy from their past relationships that they brought to you and vice versa, any place you have may have exchanged those energies with them. We just did a nice cleanup with that. Um, and that was really powerful. There was a pocket of energy that was, of course, about this life and even ancestral energies. But there was a point where some of the energies sort of stalled. So if you personally are experiencing blocks or stalls within your creations, you may really truly want to look at a deepening of a clearing or a detoxing in those lower chakras, in the sacral energies, the womb space. And you can look at literal physical detoxes, detox teas, or whatever you're called to. The physical, obviously, energetic clearings, self massage, essential oils, working with someone to help support this deepening of the clearing, depending on what resonates for you. But this space also deeply opened up into past lives. And it was where some of that coinciding of people that you may have encountered or had relationships or intimacy within this incarnation that were actually connected to past lives. So that was some of the sort of frozen energy. But then there was also a pocket where some of it was the actual counterpart twin flames, the sacred union energy, the shared space essence that you may have took in from the counterpart, and a bunch moved with that. So, of course, you are welcome to partake in this very powerful session. It is a series. I contemplated, offering them individually, but the way that it's coming in the series is actually a very potent and important part of the process, because as we cleared the roots and made that space last week, it's what allowed the sacral chakra essences to open and shift and not only clear out the past information, but also opening space for some very new essences to be rebirthed. And again, like I said, birthing truly new essences and aspects in a whole new way. So there's very powerful energies brewing within this and within this potential. So I wrote a couple notes. Let me double check. I think that I brought through a lot of what I wanted to bring through, but I want to just check. Thank you. Oh, yes, that claiming of the womb space from other lives. So this could be where anyone, whether it was sexual or just creation wise, connected with you or saw you as a form of property. And this could have been as a spouse, as a slave, as just who knows the circumstances, but anyone or anything who put a claim on your essence, your sexual energy, your creation power, that is a space to look into. And again, there's the sessions, the series, but if you want to work with me one on one, if something it's coming to me right now, the sexual and the creation energies are such a deeply vulnerable space. If you prefer to do one on one, I would absolutely work with you on that if you feel guided. Okay. So there's just a lot of past trauma in these lower chakras. It's where those traumas are stored. Okay. So again, yes, clearing any claims to any of your essence. All right. And you can start working with this intention if you have not already immediately, right? You no longer agree to have your creation or sexual energies siphoned from or redirected to anyone or anything else from the past, present, or in the future. Okay. This is part of that establishing your sovereign lane into your sacred inner union energies so that you are clear and present to establish a deeper foundation for sacred union in the new and true energies, right? Your foundation, not the old collective foundation, but one that you are creating and co-creating with Source and Mother Earth for yourself, right? This is a big part of why we have gone through such deep initiations so that we can learn and relearn and remember our true conscious creatorship abilities. Okay. Now, I'm guided to go into pulling some messages. I'm going to pull a message from and for the masculine sexual energies first. Then we're going to pull for the feminine sexual energies. And then I'm going to pull a shared space. Okay. Wow. All right. I'm I'm gonna do this. Some cards flew across the table upside down and some came up upright. I do feel guided to take these. So for the masculine, we have mindful groupthink. resourcefulness, horned cactus, and deep diver diving into a task. What's coming to me is where the masculines are very focused more externally on the material, physical world and providing and protecting in those ways. At the depth of who they are, they have very powerful and potent manifesting physical world energies within them, which is why they have this deep resourcefulness. And what's coming through, wow, okay, there's a lot of energy opening with this. What's coming through is actually the depth of the manifestation power that the masculines hold, in many cases, has even been hidden from them, in part because they suppress or have been taught to suppress their emotions and their heart, which actually support a deepening expansion of their manifestation powers. And this horn cactus is coming through to me as the actual heart space of the masculine. Excuse me, my voice is obviously processing, opening something. What's coming through for the masculines is wow, okay. This deep diver is like the depth of that intuitive, emotional, higher chakra essence and how that wants to come in to the heart space. The heart may receive it, but then in the physical world, the masculines sort of store it in the cactus, like how the cactus stores the water, but you only see this sort of like prickly thorn in the harsher environment. But the depth and the emotion are still very present within the masculine heart. What I'm receiving in this moment for any masculines who are watching or feminines who are working in their internal masculine, what's coming through is as you are working with the root and the sacral chakras, and of course, even into the solar, like working with pulling the essence and energy up through your body, through your chakras, and into the heart. And what's coming through is that this will help to sort of like start to dissolve the prickly aspect of this protected heart, but in a way where it still feels protected, but in a way that the depth of the emotion and intuition can still be accessed. I can feel more wants to come with this, which makes sense because we still have to go into the solar and the heart space, but we're already receiving messages about how this is all intertwined together. And this mindful group think, you see how it's all of the colors, all of the colors, all of the aspects of ourselves, from the roots to the crown, the connection to source and the earth is what brings on the plethora of creations and potential that lives within us all, but especially the manifesting physical prowess of the masculine essence. Okay, so for any of you here and present that are resonating, you can work with the sacral chakra and harnessing that energy, right? Like as you're clearing it and strengthening its potency for yourself, you can work with actually inviting its essence into your heart to start to dissolve any of the protective mechanisms that have actually been holding you back from your full array of manifestation creation power. Manifestation creation power. Okay. So, wow, very, very beautiful, very, very powerful. I will let you all work with that, but I can feel so deeply the depth that lives beneath the cactus and how actually letting yourself receive the support from the earth and the lower chakras and those sacred elements can create a new form of protection that actually allows the full prowess and power of the masculine creation essence to come forward in a whole new way. I'm here for this. Wow. Very beautiful. All right, let's see what flew across the table. So we have joyful muse straddling worlds between realms. This feels like the shared space message I was going to bring through. So I'm gonna touch on it quick, then we're gonna go into the feminines and we'll see where we go. This feels like where both the masculine and feminine are exploring all of these different layers, the different aspects of themselves from the roots through to the higher power, right? Through to the intuition and bringing forth those creation energies, the inspiration, the things that bring joy. What I'm feeling most potently and most importantly is that through this exploration, each are able to discover more and more of who they truly are, what is actually genuinely satisfying for their soul, for their heart, for their physical world. And not only what is truly satisfying, but also what naturally supports their genuine natural gifts and talents. And this is an important part because each, even though there may be similarities, the differences between the masculine and feminine is where the harmonization takes place. It's where the orchestra and the plethora expands, right? This is where the new creations are birthed. The differences between the masculine and feminine are actually the beautiful meeting point and the opportunity to create and build something completely new if both can be in the state of being open to listen and learn from one another, to be comfortable enough to stay in sort of an in between state of temperance, to learn from one another, right? Not to put your truth on the back burner, but to be open to receiving another level of perspective in a whole new inspiration for more and more of your creations. This is the space and the place where the masculine and feminine coming together in their shared talents and their shared gifts in creating and building new gifts for themselves, for each other, and for the world, my loves. Yes, love it. Okay, let's see what wants to come through for the feminines. I am absolutely loving these messages. Yes. Let's see what we got. Okay. So for the feminines, we have angelic assistance, divine guidance, loving support, duality, many meanings and misunderstandings, an opening heart to deep connections and water blessings. Wow. Okay. So the dualistic nature is what's standing out to me because it's what I just touched on about the differences between the masculine and feminine. And why this is so important when we are talking about the sacral chakra, right? Is because this is where creation, where the dualistic natures of the masculine and feminine come together to build life, to build creations, right? You literally, in the sacral chakra, is where the sperm and the egg join in their dualistic nature to create and birth another human being. Okay. This is the place in the space where all of our creations are landing. And the feminine is the portal to hold that portal open for the higher creations to come in to the sacred womb space, down into the roots, and to be born onto the earth. Okay, now, of course, masculines hold a womb space as well, and the masculines are creating as well. We're just getting this message from the feminine because the feminine physical body is the actual physical portal to birth human form, right? It's the template of which we understand the birthing process. And I know many of you have actually, even if you don't have human physical children, you have gone through that spiritual birthing process, right? I did a video about that last year where you're actually feeling as if you are physically giving birth to creations. I have experienced this myself. Okay, so honoring that, harnessing that you are a portal for birthing new essences onto this planet also connects with my most recent YouTube message around if you are not seeing the solutions or the answers you're looking for, you may be the one who is here to birth those solutions, right? And so that clearing and cleansing of the old creations is an important part of the next process so that you can bring in the new information, right? And clearly, this opening heart connection is leading us right back to what I spoke about with the masculines, right? Opening the heart in a way where you're tempering and harnessing the dualistic energies, where you're able to hold the tempered states from the higher energies, let the tempered dualistic energies come down, right? The extremes of the masculine and feminine, the dark and the light. You know where I'm going, any of those, right? Love and hate, all of those extremes, but in a tempered manner, as those are birthed down into the heart. As you're holding those in the heart, you're holding the meeting space to meet the masculine in his newly opened heart. And the heart is that centripetal point. But you also see the importance, well, of the whole chakra system, but the sacral chakra being that meeting point where the heart space creations, the heart's internal love, the internal guidance of the heart, where it helps you birth forth your personal creations. But when the masculine and feminine hearts come together in harmony and they are birthing new creations through the sexual energies, through the creation energies, and embodying those down into our earth. Okay. I feel like there is so much opening up with this, and the energies are so potent. I'm trying to do my best to bring forth and do it justice, but I can feel that there's so much more opening up with this. I'm going to let you all decide how you want to progress with these energies, right? How you want to work with these messages. But hold on, I feel like something else wants to come through. Just allowing all of the manifestation, all of the chakras, all of the colors, all of the harmonization coming together, right? And enjoying the process, enjoying the step by step, enjoying the embodiment, letting yourself sink into the satisfaction of supporting yourself in these processes, your own sovereign lane, and then also that deeper embodiment into the portal of sacred union stabilization, which is what this entire series is about, right? How can we support ourselves in new and deeper ways in our internal union? And finally, having the space and the bandwidth to equally stabilize the sacred union container, Okay. And the importance of the co-creation of the masculine and feminine collectives. We've been working on the internal masculine and feminine. We'll continue to do so, but also now that deeper preparation and embodiment for the masculine and feminine collectives to come together and build and co-create the new energies together in the physical world, because the masculine collective and the feminine collective both hold very important pieces of this gorgeous puzzle, right? So honor your gifts, honor their gifts. Find those places and spaces where you can come together and create more of these beautiful solutions. Okay, my loves, I love this. I'm loving where this is heading, where it's evolving to, and I'm very grateful my higher guidance asked me to do this series because it has been exceedingly supportive to start to truly embody into this next phase and witness the growth that the collective is experiencing and our next levels of opportunity for embodying sacred union and unity consciousness energies. All right, loves, again, I'm going to put everything in the pinned comment. If you have any questions or you have feedback or you want to share, I would love to hear from you in the comments. And as always, sending you so much love. See you soon. Take care. Bye.